What is good, everybody? What is good? It's Big Game James, and we back in the building, man. We back in the building. We took a light hiatus. It's kind of more me than Miss Star, so I'm gonna already blame me for that. While we haven't been live, I have been having some technical difficulties, but I figured it out. We're back in the building. We're back in business, and we're gonna talk draft after draft, all that good stuff. Get my man Julius Wood some good props.
Oh
Feel me? What's
yeah.
up, Calvin Higgs? Yeah, just talked to his props today, Star. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm on cloud nine. We on cloud nine. We were just talking today. I called him.
Uh-huh.
He was at work, and I was like, "What's?" As soon as I called him, I was like, "What's up, dog?" He was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he was like, "You know what it is?" And I was just, we was just talking about the process of it, Star, and
Yeah.
just how everything happened. And the main thing he told me was that he had a lot of teams,
Interesting.
hitting interested, and Dallas
Mm-hmm.
wasn't one of them. Dallas uh, never called him,
Wow.
never had a meeting, never nothing. And
Nothing.
then right after he said immediately after the draft, he said all these teams were calling before the draft, wishing him luck. He
Oh,
said immediately after the draft, Cowboys called him, was like, "What's up?"
wow.
So that tells me,
Wow.
Star, if they was being quiet about it, maybe they liked him.
Yeah, they
Maybe they
like
didn't want. Maybe they
they
didn't
didn't want
want
to
to
open up
say
their
nothing.
mouth.
You
They didn't
you
want
feel me?
nothing,
You
nothing to
feel me?
nobody ruin nothing. That's what they said.
You feel me, Star? So maybe
Yeah.
they sit there like we've been had our eyes on you, and we don't want to talk because somebody might snatch you. So we gonna be quiet. Yeah,
Uh-huh. That's
yeah.
that is so awesome. I mean, I could not imagine having one of my family members play for the Dallas Cowboys. I'd be acting a fool, but God,
And
that's
what
that.
and what's so crazy about a Star? We
Mm-hmm.
got to see him. I mean, little league. We was playing with my son, and just the fact that you just seen it. And what's so crazy, like when he was in right when he was about to transition to high school, I was telling Wood, I was like, "Hey man, you need to put him at safety. I know the school, just tell the coaches put him at safety because he
Mm-hmm.
was a do it all in little league. I mean, runners back, receiver, safety, linebacker, he did everything. But
Yeah.
he was killing everybody on offense. But I was like, dog, there's a lot of 6'2" receivers out there. You feel me? But
You said put him
6'2"
at safety.
safety, that's where it's going to be at because he's already, already has the ball hawkness, when
Yep.
he gets the ball in his hands. So let him
Yep.
play that safety position, turn up, end up playing safety, and here we are. So I'm just super excited about it.
That's so
Go get
awesome.
it, Julius. He just said he's getting ready for mini camp. So when he comes back from mini camp, I already told Wood, man, we got to get that interview. So we're
For
trying to get
sure.
that. Yeah, we're trying to get that.
150%.
You feel me? We're trying to get
I
that
just-
interview set up
That
and,
is
and just get
crazy.
from the little leagues to the big leagues, baby. But
Yeah.
let's get it. Let's get it. So I'm
Yeah.
just on cloud nine about that. But
But I just have a question about
okay.
him.
Hmm.
What is what do you think he brings to the table as in our safety room? Do you think he has any similarities to the safeties that are already there? Is he a strong safety, free safety? He can play both. Like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. He's to me, he's like a Donovan Wilson. He's like
okay,
a strong
okay,
safety and a free safety body. Because when you see
body,
Donovan Wilson,
okay,
he's a little bit undersized, and Donovan Wilson can cover, but that's not his forte. And I will
right.
say, Wood Julius, that's he can cover. He has good range, but he still has to work on coverage. But his forte is coming down in that box, putting the
Laying the
pounding.
wood.
You feel
Okay,
me? Laying the wood
okay,
on line,
yeah,
on tight ends, running
right,
backs. He fills the hole. So for me, he's like a
yeah,
young Donovan
yeah.
Wilson. And
Okay,
the thing I think why he really dropped in the draft, he did his pro day, and his pro day ran a 4.6, and I know he's faster than that. But you know how you
mm-hmm.
see some people play, they may run a little slow, but they play
Yep,
faster on the field,
they play
and that's
faster.
what
Mm-hmm.
Julius is. When you see him, you don't look like he's running fast, but he gets there. So I think he
Mm-hmm.
may could have got nervous at the time because I think he's about a 4 or 5 guy. I think he's about a four or
Okay,
five guy.
okay.
And he's played special teams, so special
Mm-hmm.
teams is nothing new to him. I told him be a special teams demon, and
Demon.
that's the way to get you, the
Yep.
quickest way to get you on the roster. So just
Wow.
many blessings. Go get it. Let's get it. I'm excited, and I'll be nothing more excited. He actually makes that 53-man roster. You ever
That'd
seen
be
Big Game James do cart flips,
that'd be
cartwheels,
super
flips?
exciting.
You will see me do it on the show.
Mm-hmm. That'll be super exciting. I think it just says something for, this is the type of safeties that Zimmer wants. We knew the type of safeties that Dan Quinn wants, but for him to go after, he's your cousin or he's your nephew?
He's not really my natural family. I've known
Okay.
his father. I've known his father.
You're just close. Okay,
Yeah,
family.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I've
Y'all
known his
just close
father
like
for
that.
about yeah. I know his father for 40 years. We
Yeah.
grew up together since we were like kids in elementary.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, that's
so
that's family.
so
That's
that's
family.
fam. You feel me? I known his
Yeah,
boys. That's fam. So
yeah.
we ain't blood related, but damn near might as
We
well call
basically are.
blood
Yeah, we
related.
might as well be brothers. Okay, yeah, but that's just I don't know. That's to that type of prototype that Zim wants that type of hard, like you said, hidden safety. He wants to come in the box. He wants to lay the boom. So that really gives us an idea of the type of safeties that Zim wants, and it kind of is like, okay, well, who fits it? Who fits that type of profile that we already got in the room, and who's likely going to be the odd man out? You know what I'm saying? Because our safety
Hmm.
room is one of the deepest.
Hmm.
I'm hoping that we possibly move Izzy back to corner. I don't know if they're gonna do that, but
Right.
um, because I just want these young guys. I did a whole show yesterday about the young guys. I'm like, I really want these young guys to have a chance and have fair competition and not have to um have basically where spots are just already locked up. So it's like you don't really have much of an opportunity to make the team. I want everybody to have an opportunity to make the team because I think that's how we get the best people on the field. So we'll definitely have to be watching him and stuff during training camp. But that is awesome. I'm super happy about that. Big.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited, and like I said, I told him, hey, it might be hard, might be uphill battle, but it's definitely something can happen because the thing that I said is in his side is that Cowboys love undrafted players.
They
You
do.
can,
And you will
you
play. You
you
can
will
play him.
play, you can start, you can have a big time career. We seen Romo Dowdell last year was the backup.
Roma,
Uh,
Dowdell, Steele.
your boy, what was our fullback last year? He was undrafted.
Oh yeah, Hunter Lipke,
Hunter Lipke, Wanye,
Wanye,
Brock Hoffman,
TJ
T.J.
Bass.
Bass.
You get a chance to play here in
You
Dallas.
get a chance. Remember
This is
Ron Leary?
yep. This is the best place. People won't say it, but I didn't even really think about that. But it's like this is a good place for these young free agents now, the high price free agents now, because we don't play
Mm-hmm.
like that. But
Right,
for
right.
the young free agents, like this should be your go-to place because like I actually have a chance to actually
Mm-hmm.
make the roster and play because
And play.
we play those guys. We play the guys from the USFL or what's it called now, the UXL or whatever. We play those
XFL.
guys. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we play
You
those
see
guys.
Turpin.
Turpin, our kicker, Brandon Aubrey,
Yep.
literally Pro Bowler last year. So we play those guys. So I'm really excited to see him.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. So let's get into this start. Let me shout out to Popeye Peach 187 gives a $5 holly. Says y'all think Zeke getting 15 and resign is a sign of is Dak trying is Dallas trying to get on Dak's good side and also in the end of Trey. So basically, he's getting 15. Did he resign to get Dak back on the good side? And do you think this is the end of Trey?
So I do think that them bringing Dak back, them bringing Zeke back was to be a positive toward trying to get Dak the side back. I do think that Dak had said in his home run derby interview that this was always the plan. Him and Zeke always knew that they wanted Zeke to just go away for a year,
Mm-hmm.
prove he can still play, and then come back. So this was always the plan. Dak obviously and Zeke wanted to reunite because they obviously came in here together. They're obviously best friends. They have goals. They had dreams of becoming that next group that we can look to. We don't have to keep looking to the Emmets and the Michael Irvins and stuff like that because that's our last greats. And they really had a dream to be that. So I do think that as far as Trey Lance, we didn't pick up his 5th-year option, so he's pretty much going to be competing for quarterback too. Seeing if he can beat out Cooper Rush. this season. Now, as far as next season, we have to re-sign him. And I don't know if Trey. I don't really know Trey's market. That's something that's confusing because I'm like, if we do re-sign Trey, does he sign back for like a Cooper Rush deal? Like, couple years, 3 million a year, or is his agent going to be like, nah, let's push for higher because we think that he can be more instead of Cooper Rush, he can be more like a Gardner Minshew or a Geno Smith, a guy who can actually start and be a bridge. So it'll be interesting to see Trey Lance's market. So I don't know if this is the end of Trey Lance, to be quite honest. But I do think that ultimately the Cowboys do want to re-sign Dak, and I do think part of Zeke being here is trying to say, Dak, all right, look, we brought your boy back, help us out, sign for that hometown discount like they want.
Yeah, well, we'll see about the hometown discount. My
Yeah, we'll
my
see.
kind of my kind of take on it, I can definitely see them doing that for maybe possibly getting Dak back. But I have my own feelings about Stephen Jones with Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
I still feel like if they sign him, I'm not mad at it. But I just
Mm-hmm.
feel like y'all put this man through a lot. I feel like if this is the franchise guy, you don't put your franchise guy through. I look at other organizations throughout the league, and they don't do this to their franchise quarterback. So that's why it's always going to put
I
doubt in
agree with
my
that.
mind. It's always going to put doubt in my mind. And then when I listened to his last interview when he was with Troy Aikman at the Cancer Foundation, it didn't sound promising to me. I heard Dak Prescott say, "Hey, we'll see at the end of the year." He said that out of his mouth. We'll see at the end of the year. So I'm like, pause. If you signed, why are you talking about we'll see at the end of the year? So I listened to all those words, and I heard, him also say, hey, when we get to talking and when serious talks had to happen, then we'll see. So that tells me they ain't came to the table. Ain't no serious
Nope,
talks
they ain't
even
come to
being.
the table because Jerry, like he said, he waiting on them leaves to fall.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry wants contractual leads to fall. Just like I'm stop saying extend CD, extend that because I feel they're gonna do it, but it ain't gonna be until after we see the Justin Jefferson domino fall, which who knows when that's happening. I'm assuming it'll happen sooner than later. You know what I'm saying? Now that Justin knows who his quarterback's gonna be, but I think they're waiting on that domino to fall, and they're waiting on these other quarterbacks. They're waiting on Tua. They're waiting on Goff. They're waiting on Love because that's the way we like to do business here in Dallas. Does
True.
it make sense? No. You know what I'm saying? Like you wait. It's like why wait when you can get ahead? You can get ahead of it.
They
But
don't never
Jerry's
want to be ahead because they don't want to be market setter.
they
Stephen
don't
Jones
want to
already
set the
said
market. They
they do
don't
not
want to
want to
set
set
the
the market.
market at all. And as far as them, the sully and denigrating, they've done the deck. They've done it to pretty much all of their star players. I do understand the angle of, well, he's your franchise quarterback, so he should be special. But they don't really treat nobody special around here. Like if Dak bent over and signed for five
I
million,
feel like they treat Zeke special. Look what they did for him. They
yeah, they
said
were
Zeke. They went out there. And how many times I didn't mean to cut you off, Star, but how many
no, you
times
can.
did we heard the Joneses say, especially Jerry, that Zeke is the one that straws the drink in here. You feel me? And he's the
Yeah,
one that
he said
held
that, but
out for a little bit.
Jerry
Okay,
say
but
that same stuff about they all say positive stuff about their players, but then when it comes contract negotiations, now I will
he
say
paid for Zeke.
when they let Zeke go, I will say they didn't talk trash about him,
Hmm.
and then they let Zeke come back, right? I
That was
think
that under the table deal, though, Star. You said it yourself, and I believe it too. I believe when they let Zeke go, Jerry probably told him, "Look, we're gonna bring you back next year. Just go over there and play a year, so we ain't got to worry about paying because we're paying Tony Pollard 10 million. We can't pay you this money.
we
Just
can't
go
pay
on over
you.
there. Just go on
Yeah,
over there and play. Get healthy, stay healthy, and then next year we ain't gonna pay Tony Pollard again.
you
Just come
right.
on back."
You 100%
I
right.
could
But
definitely hear them saying that.
but but look at the Zeke signed a 1 year $3 million deal.
You're right. So
If
that's
Dak,
why I
I'm
feel
trying
like,
to tell y'all, if Dak
but see, that's why I feel like it feels like a last hurrah for me because it's not like you gave him a multi-year deal. You and also,
they
when I
not
had
giving
Mike Fisher,
nobody multi-years
that's what I'm
multi-year
saying
deals.
though. When I had Mike Fisher and I interviewed him last week, he said when they drafted Marshawn, Tank's replacement. When they drafted Cooper Beebe, Zach Martin replacement, they said we'll see on Dak. They didn't do. He said they weren't going to pick up the fifth year option on Trey because they really don't believe because they ain't seen nothing. But my thing
Right.
is. You're gonna play him all summer. You're gonna play him
Oh
in
yeah,
the preseason.
they're gonna
You
play
feel
him all
me?
summer. They're gonna play him in the preseason. But this is the thing. The only way that Dak doesn't get signed is if the Cowboys are crazy. Because at this point, if you knew that, like, listen, we either gonna walk away from Dak, we gonna because you have Trey Lance in the wings, you can sign him for a cheap deal, right? Way cheaper than Dak. I don't know how cheap, but you can sign him for significantly cheaper than Dak. Use him as a bridge quarterback, see what he's gotten to this year to or in 2025, and you go and you trade Dak to the Raiders or you trade Dak to wherever the hell that he wants to go, and you get the compensation for him. If
They
the
scary
Joneses
though.
if the Joneses really allow Dak to hit the free market and walk away and all we get is a third or fourth round comp pick, I mean, that would be like one of the worst
Right. It's a
organizational things
failure.
to happen
Yes.
in NFL history. I'm like, I guess Jerry and Steven could be that crazy, but
That
I
would
don't
be
know.
crazy. I
That would
feel
just
you.
be
I,
crazy.
now,
It just
and
don't
I
make
totally
no
see y'all.
sense.
And I totally see everybody's angle, and they say, "Jay, you crazy?" Because I totally see it. And then I talked to this guy named Dan Rogers from Blogging the Boys. He was just
Hmm.
like, and I agree with the part where he says that Jerry's 81 years old. I just don't see him starting over because he's old and he don't want to do that because he don't do it with the coaches. And I can see that.
Everybody has said that. Like
I
Jerry is oh, he don't want to start over.
and I can see that. You feel me? But all I'm saying is this: Trey Lance
Hmm.
come up in there turning up, dog, and they ain't signed Dak yet. They didn't sign Dak yet. And Trey Lance, they do any of that preseason stuff, and Trey Lance get to turn up, it's gonna be crazy up here in Dallas. So please, if you're gonna do it, get it done. I personally said, you know what? I know people get mad at me, but I just said, 8 years. I just feel like how much more can we see? How much more is it gonna happen? I just feel under this Jones umbrella, I just don't see Dak winning under this Jones umbrella now. Do I see him leaving and going somewhere else and possibly winning? I could definitely see him possibly winning somewhere else. But this Jones umbrella is just a nasty umbrella. And I just feel like there's something about it that keeps us from just doing what we need to do. Because damn, we had three good playoff teams and we can't win in these against these squads.
You
It's
know what
just
I think? I came to I really been thinking about this, and I said, you know what? I think we've kind of been rebuilding for a while, and we've been
how
doing
so?
a soft. Well, I think we've been doing a soft rebuild because I think we've been slowly trying to get like look at what's happening.
Hmm.
You're pushing all of the Jace Mike once Zach Martin leaves, he's set up to be the last one of the Jason Garrett era apart from Dak. So when you look at how Mike McCarthy has slowly rebuilt this offensive line, he started it off with Terrence Steele, got Lyle Collins out of here. That wasn't his guy. Okay. Then he said, okay, you had Biotish here on the deal. You got Zach Martin here. He's a movable. Who was the next movable piece? Connor McGovern, Connor Williams. Got rid of them. Okay. Then he got rid of Tyron Smith. So I think like when you think about it, like Mike McCarthy has slowly been trying to rebuild this offensive line in his image. It took him a couple of years, but he slowly finally got the reins of the offense. People didn't realize last year we were in a first year offense. That's starting over. You started over. You said root out this Kellen Moore offense that we've been running since 2019, and we're gonna start over. So it's like I think that Mike McCarthy has been slowly but surely trying to get the players in here that match him. Michael Gallup's gone. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to
Hmm.
get his guys in here. I think Mike Zim has gotten his guys in here. Now, whether Mike Zim is going to be here for another year, that remains to be seen. But I think ultimately if Jerry and them had it their way, they want to resign Mike McCarthy. They want to resign Mike Zimmer. They're not going to resign Mike McCarthy because of the complete disaster class that happened last in the disaster class that happened in the playoffs. I believe if he didn't have that disaster class, I believe Mike McCarthy gets an extension. It's the
How
fact that
does
we got
Let me ask you this though, Star. I don't mean to cut you off
no,
though.
you're
We're gonna
good.
play, we're gonna do the devil's advocate. So
Hmm.
how can you not give Mike McCarthy a deal, but you let Jason Garrett go 8-8, 3 straight seasons, and he gets
Because
a 12
Jason
and 4
get
season? I know,
I
but
could
that's what
I
I'm
could
saying.
tell
It
you
don't it
because
does.
they
I know
brought
why. I know why, Star,
yeah.
but it doesn't make sense to me because you did that with Garrett. He had 3 8-8 seasons, had one winning season. You gave him a 5-year deal. You brought in McCarthy 3 out of his 4 years, he's had 12 win seasons, playoffs damn near every year. But now you want to put him in lame duck status. But that's the frustrating. If you get what I'm saying, Star, that's frustrating
Mm-hmm.
to me.
Yeah, I think it's very frustrating, but I think with Jerry and them, you see, you it comes to the point of Jason Garrett was born and bred here. You know, he was a quarterback, then he moved from the quarterback to the quarterback's coach, then he moved from quarterback's coach. All of a sudden, you're a what's the name, you're an offensive coordinator. So I think that just like we say, the Joneses, they have that tendency to want to be right. They want to be right. They want to be right. And so they kept trying to prove that Jason Garrett was this next guru, like a Sean Payton, you
Hmm.
know. So they kept trying to prove that, but then they finally realized, like, this guy doesn't have what it takes. Jerry has a shorter leash for Mike McCarthy because Jerry brought Mike McCarthy in here because to win a Super Bowl.
Hmm.
He felt like, I need to go out and get an experienced coach that's won a Super Bowl that knows what to do. So with Jerry, his patience with Mike is much thinner because I just like what's his name from Blocking What the Boy said. Jerry knows his time is running out. So, he knows it, like, I'm already 80 years old. If I'm lucky, I'll live to be 90. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, listen, I don't have that. But even if he reaches 90, by the time the sun is going to start setting soon. It
Hmm.
happens. It happened to my grandparents, where it's
Mine
like
too.
they're
And
fine
it's
and then
quick.
boom, it's quick. The sun starts to set. And so he knows, like, how much longer do I realistically have where I'm fully functioning and really understand what the hell is going on? Because I'm
Hmm.
already struggling now.
Hmm.
So I think he has shorter patience, and Jerry's just like, get somebody in here that can win. That's why I think, like, with Mike McCarthy, he's like, I don't want you. I'm not gonna give you the Jason Garrett treatment. Cause see, with Jason Garrett, I feel like I had more time. We can wait. We can do
Yeah.
this. We can
Yeah.
build. We can do
I can.
that.
I
But with
can
Mike
agree with that.
McCarthy, he's like, listen, I don't have the patience for this. I really don't. Like, if you can't do it, I'm gonna bring somebody else in. I think when it comes to the big three, the reason why I don't pinpoint Dak, because I'm like, listen, that's fine. You say I don't believe in Dak. Okay. Why would you be waiting to sign your number one wide receiver? Like, he is your offense. If you lose CD Lamb, I mean, what do you have? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, yeah, we got
Hmm.
Ferg and stuff, but the offense runs through CD. So you
Hmm.
don't have him. What do you have? You don't have
Hmm.
Micah Parsons. What do you have? Like,
Hmm.
those are all pro players. So it's like you're playing games where all three are your all pro players. It to me is just like, shout out to Boss Cowboy. It's a publicity stunt. Jerry and them know that they can milk so much money out of this fake QB controversy and not signing their stars. So they want to do that. Like, they're gonna milk the hell out of it with Trey Lance. They probably gonna tell Mike McCarthy, just have him do check downs in the preseason because they want Trey Lance to look as good as possible so they can really spin it. But at the end of the day, Trey Lance doesn't have anything tangible for Steven to say, all right, I'm gonna pay you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Hmm.
Steven don't care what he see in preseason. He's gonna have to see Trey Lance play real NFL games in order for him to say, all right, I'm gonna give you another contract. That's why I feel like with Trey Lance, he's likely, unless he just, I don't even, it just depends to me. Cause I'm like, I don't even know if he's gonna beat out Cooper Rush. We know what Cooper Rush is, but Cooper Rush can win you games. You know what I'm saying? Not
He's
win you
shown.
games, but
He's shown he can win games.
he can win games. Like, that's what I'm saying. He's shown he can win games. With Trey Lance, when you came from the offense, you came from the offensive guru that's produced all these gurus in the league. They're known for having these super efficient, quarterback friendly offenses where they are like, you can have anybody back there. My system's so good, you can have anybody back there. And for Trey Lance not to thrive in that system, I just don't see that. I don't think people are realizing that there was a reason that he was moved. He's 6'4", has this arm. Brock Purdy is like 6 foot, 6'1", has an okay arm, and they said he's better than Trey Lance right now. And I personally went and looked at the film at Trey Lance, and I'm like, it wasn't good last preseason. Now maybe he takes a huge jump, and we look at him in this preseason, and we're like, wow, he looks so much better. But I'm like, Mike McCarthy's system is more complex than uh what's his name, Shanahan. So I'm like, I just don't know how much he's gonna be able to grasp, but I think we'll see. But I already put it out there. I said, listen, Steven said on the fan, because they were like, if you let Dak walk, don't you have that $40 million cap hit, yada yada yada. And Stephen was like, yeah, we do have the $40 million cap hit, but it won't be that big of an issue because he said the quarterback, if we get another quarterback, he's gonna be way cheaper. To me, that said you're gonna get a rookie. It's either that or we're just gonna draft and get a rookie and start over. I think that's what would be the plan. I don't see Trey Lance as the guy. I don't see them betting the house on Trey Lance. I think they would want to bring in a young rookie with a new coaching regime and just renew that whole spot. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
I can see that angle where you're coming from. I'm listening to JC. Shout out to you, JC,
What's up,
football.
JC?
JC, the Cowboy fan, going hard. No, where he's at? There we go. Yeah, JB, the Cowboys fan. Shout out to you. But I agree with you, Star, in the fact of with the Jason Garrett. I feel like Jason Garrett was their son. That was somebody who was in the organization, and they give passes for their draft picks
They
over
do.
free agents. So
They
they
do.
definitely would give a pass for their coach, who they felt like they brought in
They brought
because
in.
they want to prove the point that he was the next guy. So they're going to give
The
him a
next
longer
guru.
leash because
Mm-hmm.
they want to prove that they were right. And then after
Yep.
10 years, you finally found out, no, it's not it. And I totally agree. You brought in McCarthy for, hey, you want a Super Bowl over there, you got to come over here and win. We ain't come
Went
over
for it.
here to win regular season games. We've seen that. We've seen you
Yep.
do that over there. We need you to come over here and win a chip. So I
Mm-hmm.
can definitely see that angle where it's coming from. As far as the Trey Lance thing, I agree that they don't have the belief in him, or they would have did that, because even if you picked up that 5th year option, it's only 22 million. It ain't crazy, but
Right, it's 22 million and
that's
you
cheap.
that's cheap and you could still I think work out a deal. So it's like if you really saw all this great stuff from Trey Lance and you're like, listen, I believe we got something in him, and even if he's not our next franchise, that we could at least use him, like I said, like a Geno. We could use him as a bridge and then bring
Hmm.
another rookie in here and give that
They
rookie
want to
time
stay
to get.
cheap. They want to
Yeah.
stay cheap, Star. You feel me? That's what
They
it
want
is.
to stay cheap. That's what I said. I was like, they're not about to give Trey Lance. No, if they get rid of that, they are going cheap, which means
Yeah.
I'm getting a rookie that I can pay $2 to. That's what
Hmm.
I'm doing. I'm not
Facts.
about to be paying no
Facts.
bridge quarterback, no major money. They don't do that. That's just not how
Yep.
they operate.
Yeah,
No.
I would agree. And it just makes it look even more goofy. And that's why, in my opinion, they did the trade back this year. I know they
Mm-hmm.
were looking for their guy, but as soon as that guy went away, they had to do that because
Yep.
everybody would have been on that ass about that pick with Trey
They
Lance.
had to.
They
They
had
had
to.
to.
They
They
had to
had
make up
they were
that pick
forced to
because
move back.
they
They
were
had to.
forced, because we would have been killing them like all, but you lost that 4th round pick and all, because we saw all them
All
running
that
backs,
talent, all that talent, we
all
would
that
have
talent,
lost
and
that out.
all them running backs went in the 4th round. All of them went in the 4th round. So yeah,
Yep.
it's kind of wild how that draft happened. But now we are talking about the draft. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, talk
Shout
about
out
the
to my girl Star, though. Shout out to you. Let me give a big shout out to Star on here, because on the Big Star Show, she gave 2 players on here that she said that she would love to see drafted.
I sure did.
Cooper Beebe, she was on Twitter every damn day. I was almost like, please draft this man, because she talking about this man every damn day.
Yeah.
Draft this man. So you have been on that, and then you're the one that brought Maris. How you
Maris
say the last
Leofau.
name?
I think it's Leofau. Leofau.
Leofau.
Maris
Maris
Leofau.
Leofau, you brought him to my attention. I had some linebackers on my board. I had
Mhm.
seen him, but I hadn't known the interest like you did. So you
Yep.
had totally opened my eyes to him. I focused on him in the Senior Bowl, and I came away very excited. I thought, hey, this
Mhm.
is a player because he can do a lot of things. Cowboys need a linebacker. I had him in a couple of my mock drafts itself. And
Mhm.
guess what? Cowboys picked him up. I thought it was a little bit of reach, but I understand it because that 4th round was gone, and he probably would have went by
Yep.
that 4th round. So I
Yep.
understand why they did it. But let's jump into the draft, and let's talk about these picks, especially the top
Yep.
half of the picks, because those are the guys that are probably going to be making some kind of an impact on
Impact.
this
Yeah.
team, we will hope, this year. So let's talk about the trade back. They didn't get
Mhm.
Troy Fontenot. They didn't get Graham Barton. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't get even Jordan Morgan. All three of those offensive line fell off the board, but they traded back. They got Tyler Guyton, big
Yep.
boy, 6'8", 322, has all the elite traits, the length, the
Yep.
hand size,
Yep.
athletic ability, former tight end. You've seen he's got a nasty little streak. He had a great interview. Looks like he was geeked to be with the
Yep.
Cowboys, and you really love that. But give me
Yeah.
your thoughts on the Tyler Guyton pick, and what do you think he really has to offer? And I'm going to bounce off you after you give me your answer.
Yeah. With Tyler Guyton, when I watched him, now he is I think that he's a little raw, but he's not as raw as people are making it seem, because he does have all the elite traits, and there's some things that he has pro ready right now, and that's his feet. I think
Mm-hmm.
he has great feet. He has good ability, or great ability to mirror. I think he's super smart in the sense of, I didn't see him in any of the games that I watched get beat by stunts, get beat by the blitz. Like, he knows, I call that a very heady player. And I think that he does have um a meanness to him that he tries to execute. Now, sometimes, because he sets high, he can sometimes he sets high, which then causes him to lunge, and then
Mm-hmm.
when he lunges, he can get beat that way. So, like, one of the games that I saw, he just kept getting rip moved to death because he kept, like, setting high and not getting under his feet, and then lunging, and the defensive guy just literally just kept, rip moving him straight to the ground. Well, he
Mm-hmm.
was to the ground, but, rip moving him down. So he wasn't falling on the ground because it wasn't that bad, but just rip moving him off the block. And so I think that that's something that he has to work on, as far as fix your base, get under your feet, and then also fix your hands. And, because he has strong hands. He almost has, like, how Tyron had that vice grip. If he can get his hands on you, you're done. You're done. He was the only tackle in the draft that I watched that I said he looks like he swallows defenders. Pause. No, did he? But he looks like he
Swallow it. We
swallow.
need that. We need that. TJ Jakes
I
swallowed
know.
it. He just. Have you ever been swallowed? Just swallowed up.
But that's seriously exactly. I'm like, he's the only guy that I literally said this guy swallows defenders because he's so big. Like, you can't get around him. Like, guys trying to spin move, they trying to do other stuff. It's like, you're not gonna get past him, like, at all. So, he's a kid that he's a little bit raw, but I think that, when we look at the jump that Tyler Smith made, from the film that we saw in Tulsa till, when he was ready to go, week one, he's gonna I think Tyler Guyton is gonna be fine. Is he gonna be all Pro Bowl this year? No. But I think that he's probably gonna have a similar trajectory as Tyler Smith, where he's gonna take his lumps. He's gonna get beat sometimes. You may see him on the ground a little bit, but I think that because of the room that he's coming into, because of Duke Manyweather being here, because of Mike Solari, people don't say it. They had an issue with Mike, but Tyler Smith became all pro under Mike Solari. So he fit Mike Solari's scheme. The rest of them did it, but he fit, and he actually performed pretty well. And so now that Mike Solari, now he's gotten two more guys that he can mold into his image, and he obviously drafted them because he fits, like, y'all fit exactly what I'm trying to do. I think that he's a good pick. And, at first I was like, don't pick him because I thought he only played the right side. But, hearing that he has played the left side, he's more comfortable on the left side. And, he played for a left hand quarterback, so he knows how to protect the quarterback's blind side. I think it was a really solid pickup. And I think just overall with that, I give it a B, because I think I had a second round grade on him. We picked him at the bottom of the first. So I think it was a good, solid pickup. He was only a second round player to me because there were just more guys like a Graham Barton or a Troy Fountain that was obviously more pro ready right now based off what we saw off film. But I still think that it was a good pick. And then on top of that, pairing that with getting Cooper Beebe, I think, great move. Great. Yeah, I think it was a good move for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you about the potential. I think is out the roof. I think the elite traits are shown right there for Guyton. I ain't gonna lie. I am a little bit more nervous, and not say nervous, but I'm a little more pessimistic on with him. I think he's going to. I love his attitude, saying, "Hey, I can do the left side. I want to do it. It's not gonna be any issue with me." I love that. But
Mhm.
I still feel like it's a big transition from the right to the left in the NFL. We saw what happened with Tyron Smith his rookie year. He played the right side. He played the right side his first year, got ate up a little bit. Actually, did better on his second year when he played the left side. Gave up
Mhm.
like 10 sacks, and even we saw Tyler Smith give up some sacks. I think he almost gave up 10 his first year, but we saw the potential with him on that left side to where
Right.
you felt like, whoa, yeah, he may have went through it a little bit, but dog, he could be something bad at right there.
Exactly.
So we
Exactly.
was all frustrated when you moved him on the inside. We was like, dog, he nasty. Let him go
He
ahead and stay on the
nasty.
outside. You feel me?
Exactly, and that's exactly how I feel. Like he's gonna take his lumps. He's gonna get beat. He's not gonna be all world. This year. But I think that ultimately, this guy could have a trajectory. He's got all the tools to be all pro right next year, and that's
Hmm.
kind of why I like throwing our young guys in the fire because yeah, we throw them in the fire, they do get burnt, they get burnt. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not perfect out there. But one thing it is that throwing them in the fire so early, it helps us get the best out of them earlier compared to okay, we let them sit for a couple of years or whatever, and so now it's 1 or 2 years or 2 years into their time being here and they're just now seeing the field. I think it's good to throw them out there because like I said, you get the best out of the player and then you also get him for cheap. We had all pros. We got all pros right now on the roster, like Deron Bland. He was a fifth round pick, so we're paying him like $2 to be all pro level. So I think like that's actually pretty smart team building, especially if you believe that I can develop these guys and I can get them to the level, and we've seen that. Then it's like you let these guys play, let them play, because unless obviously they're gonna be getting that kill every play. But it's like I don't see that. I don't see that. And I don't see him being as bad as Terrence Steele. When we first saw Terrence Steele, I see him being somewhere like
And
Tyler
they threw
Smith.
him in the fire.
They did, and he got beat. Now, granted,
Oh, he got work.
we did do some stupid stuff like leave him on the island with Miles Garrett. That's
Oh my
dumb, but
God, that was just crazy when
that's
we
so
did
dumb.
that.
Like that was dumb stuff we was doing. But ultimately, we still saw Terrence Steele. He started
He
trending
got
up.
better.
Yeah, he got
That's
better.
why he got the contract.
So I say with the guys, like the young guys, especially like our first three picks, I really want to, or the first three, four picks, whatever. I really want those guys to yeah, the first four picks. I think these guys are gonna be guys that are gonna contribute for sure this year. I think the offensive lineman will be starting, unless in some crazy world Hoffman is just better than Beebe, but I don't see that. And I definitely don't see Tyler Guyton being on the bench for Chuma Adoga or Awesome Rich. I'm not I'm not seeing that. So I think they're gonna
Right.
be starting. Now
Right.
Maris, I think Maris is gonna try to find him a role. I
Hmm.
think they have a role for him. And you know what's interesting as well is that Big when I was listening to Scott McCurley, he
Hmm.
said that Deone and Overshown are going to be playing Sam linebacker this year. So I'm like, okay, so I guess who's going to be the wheel? The only person I could think of is Micah. That's why I do think that Micah probably is going to play. He's probably going to look more like he looked his rookie year, where he's going to have half and half instead of just being locked on that edge the whole time. At that position. And then that means that that's like three positions now where it's going to be so you're having Overshown Clark and probably Maris compete for that third linebacker spot because you obviously know it's going to be Eric Kendricks. He's going to be the Micah will be the wheel. So it's like who's gonna be that third linebacker spot. So I'm glad that Clark has competition because
And they re-signed Damian Wilson too for some good
and they
backup.
re-signed. I forgot about Damian Wilson. And we have two undrafted free agent linebackers that we picked up. So I do think, and Scott McCurley said that as well. He said, hey, this year we need competition. We need good football players. We need depth because last year we got wiped out. We got wiped out by injury. You let Harper go. Wasn't really intending for him to not come back. He was hoping to bring him back on the practice squad. And that's why we had to force Deone playing Mike and Marquise Bell playing a way more prevalent linebacker role than we were expecting. It was just a mess. So I think this year they're like, we're gonna make sure we got linebackers who can star in depth, so that if one of these guys go down, we feel comfortable. You can come in and you can actually help us. Because I think at the end of the year, they didn't really believe in Evans. So they were like, we don't believe in you. We don't think you good. You then you got caught with the marijuana and all that stuff. So it's like, yeah, see ya. And then that was it. We tried to get Darius Leonard, but he's like, nah, I'm an Eagle. So we really just got screwed. Now with Dan Quinn, because you still have called them run stopping packages that we knew you had, yes. But I don't think the Dan Quinn or the Cowboys hated linebackers. I think they just got dealt an unfair hand of injuries and all that other stuff. So
Yeah, I'm being a little goofy, but yeah, definitely it's a situation where Dan Quinn ain't hating on linebackers because he's stacked on Washington Commanders over there with linebackers. So that ain't the case at all.
stacked up,
The
we stacked up. So maybe we just both
stacked.
learned our lesson.
You
You
feel
better
me?
stack
You
up
yeah, he's
linebackers.
stacked up, and
Yeah.
Mike Zimmer ain't gonna be without no linebackers. If
Oh
you look at
no.
his whole
Yeah.
defense, he ain't gonna be without no
He
linebackers.
plays
He
line.
and he has true linebackers. He don't experiment with
True
no
linebackers.
safeties. He get linebackers. You play
Big
was playing
guys.
big
They
linebackers. You
said
feel
they
me?
made Overshawn. Overshawn put on like 10 pounds.
He likes them heavy because he likes them to
He
stop
wants
the
them
run.
big. Yep. He
He
wants
wants
his
them to stop the
linebackers
run
big and able to
because
stop that run.
yeah, Mike Zimmer's big on that. So that's the one thing I can hopefully, because I think they're goofy how they did the defensive tackle. I just think me and Mike White were talking yesterday that, I mean, the other day that we don't think they just know how to draft defensive tackles. They damn sure know how to do the offensive line. They are gurus at drafting offensive linemen, but they can't for they save their life draft a defensive tackle. They don't know how to do it. They don't have people in the building that don't know how to do it. And because you get some people that can actually contribute and then you cut them. So it's just a weird thing. So hopefully something will happen after June 1st. They can pick up a defensive tackle because I
Yeah,
don't
we
care how many
definitely need a
linebackers you got. They
we
ain't
need a
going to
re-
do nothing if you ain't
we
got
need
no big
vets there.
boys.
We need that. And I have watched film on Daxon Hill, who we picked up, or Denzel Daxon, who came from Illinois, playing with Jerzon Newton. And I did watch Justin Rogers. And it's like these guys, some I think for this is my hope for Mike Zim. Yes, we
Hmm.
need to still pick up a veteran DT, period. I don't care. We need to pick up a veteran because Carl Davis, no. So we need to pick up a veteran DT. But I also will say when it comes to Mozzie, when it comes to the young guys,
Hmm.
their jobs are going to be so much easier because we're not asking you to do much. He really is gonna be able to return back to what he did in Michigan, which is read and react, and not have to worry so much about having that quick get off, get the quick get off, get up field, because
Right.
that's not what Mike Zim's gonna ask him to do. Mike Zim is gonna be like, listen, hold your ground and
Right.
take up these two blocks. We
Right.
got the linebackers here to do the rest. If you can get off the block and you can make the tackle, great. But if you can't, can you just stand there like a trash can
Stuff
at
that.
right
Take
at
them two tackles.
330 pounds? Can you just do that and just stand up so that we could do it? So I feel like the learning curve for our defensive tackles under Zim is going to be way easier compared to with Dan Quinn, because with Dan Quinn we saw what our defensive tackles. Remember what they did to Big Bo when we saw
Hmm.
Big Bo come back in that training camp? We were like, why has he lost all that weight? Like he made Big Bo slim all the way down.
Yeah.
And it may not be that he made him, but they know, like, you want us to pass rush. In order for me to pass rush, I'm gonna have to slim down because
Yeah.
my get off is too slow. I think that's what happened with Mozzie too. I don't think it was Dan Quinn explicitly saying you need to drop all of this weight, but I think it was we want you to pass rush. And so Mozzie is thinking, okay, well, what can I do to get better? Because my get off is not good. And then we was tearing his ass up saying, look at him, he's so slow, off the ball. He was hearing that stuff. So he's trying to do whatever he can to say, I need to get better. I need to get better. And it just didn't turn out right. It didn't turn out
Yeah.
right.
And I think that maybe that mental pressure that got put on him
Yeah, it's a lot of
uh,
pressure.
from all the people, the fans, probably the team, everything. That's why we probably maybe saw what maybe happened this year, because these players are humans. They ain't robots. They're just like everything else.
Mhm.
So I can definitely see a situation where that could happen, where mentally you just go you go off a little bit the deep end, because of all this pressure. You're playing for the Cowboys. You ain't playing for the Browns or something like that. You're playing for the
Yeah, it's a
Cowboys. So
lot of pressure. You're a
it's a
first
lot of
round pick,
first round defensive tackle pick.
defensive tackle, and people
I
were
ain't picked
pissed.
one in 20 years. So
And
that ain't pressure.
he had a lot of pressure. And then it's
So
just like Dan Quinn is just an experiment guy. So he saw Mozzie and he was like,
oh my
wow,
God.
we could take his
Yeah.
strength and he could pass rush. That's what he was thinking. That's what
Yeah.
he was thinking. He
Yeah.
was not thinking about stopping the run. And I hate
Yeah.
that because they acted like, what's up, Dak Attack? Glad to see you, brother.
What's up,
Uh,
Dak Attack?
but Dan Quinn really acted like we got Mozzie to like help us stop the run. And then
Right.
it was clear that was not the vision for Mozzie at all, and it just kind of sucked. But whatever, Dan Quinn's
Well,
gone.
hopefully, yeah, hopefully. Well, we definitely feel like we know Mike Zimmer's not going to be on that. Mike Zimmer likes
No,
his
he's
big
not.
boys. He had Linville Joseph.
Joseph,
Yeah, that's what he does.
big
He
defensive ends, like
340s,
240.
350s. That's why he loves them. You feel me?
Yeah,
The ends
340,
are setting the
350.
edge. They got
Yeah,
to stop the run. He's all about you got to stop the run. You play for me, you got to stop the run. If you cannot, if you cannot stop the run,
you won't
then
be on.
you ain't gonna play. That's the way
You
it
can't
is,
stop
and
the run. You won't be on the field. And
you won't be on the field.
I would say this big, how we talked about after Mike Zim's presser, we was like, it looks like he's gotten a little bit softer because he's in age, he's
Right,
gotten
right,
gotten up in age. But
right.
when I played yesterday on my show, his little call that he did with Maris, after like, oh, you're a Dallas Cowboy, whatever. Everybody's happy and smiling, and Mike Zim is just like stone faced, like, congratulations. I knew I was gonna pick you as soon as I knew you knew what everybody was doing on the defense. So I'm like, I think Mike Zim is like, it's gonna be just a culture difference because you're used to Dan Quinn. He's funny, he's laughing, he's wearing
Zimmer ain't
Jordan,
about the hype.
he's wearing backwards
Yeah,
hat,
that's not Zimmer. That is not Zimmer. Zimmer's old school.
He's
I
so
I
old
seen
school, and I was
I
like,
watched Zimmer when he was here the first time with Dallas. You feel me? So I know
he's
what he was. You know what I'm
he's an
saying?
old school guy. Like he's
He's
not
old
going to
school.
be. It's just not the same tolerance. And Eric Kendrick was like, I keep trying to tell the guys like he's hard, but I'm gonna try to go to bat for y'all. I'm gonna try to help y'all. But I'm like, I think this is serious. Like this man it's just gonna be a totally different way of coaching, and we're gonna really see the young guys who really can take that because a lot of them are saying, I want accountability. Sam Williams said it yesterday. I want accountability.
You gonna get it with him.
He's hard on us, They said Sam Williams said he's excited because he says
That's what they say
he's
now.
yeah, he said, I'm excited. Zim really gonna incorporate. I'm gonna have my opportunity. So I'm like, all right, because
We
you
see that
wasn't
now.
his second round pick. Marshawn Kneeland was.
So you
And
better come in there and you better bring it because you ain't his
exactly,
guy, and he's on a
exactly,
1 year deal. So
exactly.
think about that, Sam Williams. He's on a 1 year deal. He just drafted his guy, so the clock is ticking. So there ain't gonna be no playing around
Play
here.
around, you getting
Don't get no
penalties.
speeding tickets. Don't do nothing on the off field, dog.
No,
Don't Sam
thank
Williams. Don't you do a damn thing in the off season, bruh, because Marshawn Freeland gonna be sitting right there like, thank you.
thank you.
Okay, and and and
Exactly.
and this is a perfect
Mm-hmm.
segue to
Mm-hmm.
Marshawn, because this was the surprise pick for a lot of
Yep.
people. What's up,
Yep.
Paul? Because we thought, ooh, this could be the running back. Now we saw Jonathan Brooks get talked up by Jerry, talking and running his mouth. Best interview we had in 30 years. You knew he was going after that. Once I
Yeah.
heard Jerry say, this is the best
Jerry
interview
was
that
talking
we
so
had
much.
in
I was
30
like,
years, dog.
yeah.
I said, he gone. I ain't counting
I already
Jonathan Brooks
knew. I already
no
knew.
more. He gone.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. I knew it was gonna be gone. I was like, listen, I don't know if you just old Jerry or you're doing this intentionally. I'm like, it had to be that Jerry like
That's
wanted
the
people to
old Jerry.
wanted people to be like, we're focusing on this guy. But it's like the whole time they really had their heart set on Marshawn Kneeland. They had their heart. But you know what? What I am glad is we didn't find out because I'm like, listen,
Right.
I like Jonathan Brooks' film, but I'm
But he
not with
was injured.
I'm not with the hurt guys. And he just
Yeah.
got hurt in
In
November
second round.
2023. I'm not taking him.
I
That's
feel
why
you.
I was like, all hurt guys. I love Jonathan Brooks' film. I love Peyton Wilson. But I'm like, you guys, if we pick
And
up in
they
the
didn't
fourth,
even touch him. So you know his medicals had to be
had to
bad.
be bad. Had to be bad. Because they didn't even pick him up 4th, 5th round. They're like, we good. Well,
Well,
we didn't
watch
have a
his
fourth.
ass go on over to Pittsburgh and never get hurt. Watch his ass go over
Why
to
we
Pittsburgh.
lose? We don't have that
Dog,
luck here. We don't
dog,
have
I'm
the luck
telling you,
here.
I know. Star Four. I'm a damn near. I'm throwing some. I'm willing to throw money on that. Peyton Wilson gonna go over there because my homeboy is a Steelers fan. I said y'all gonna get Peyton Wilson and all them damn injuries. He ain't gonna have one damn injury over
No,
Pittsburgh.
he
If
not.
he
They
would have
got the
came to
luck.
Dallas
First
first
play.
damn practice,
Hurt.
snap. God damn it. See, we knew shit. We have been,
Oh,
see, I told you shit. Second round. Oh, we would have heard it
exactly.
all day. So,
We
yeah,
don't.
they didn't want to hear that noise. They didn't want to
We
hear that
couldn't
noise.
do it.
So,
We couldn't do it. And it's like I'm glad that y'all didn't. I'm glad that he wasn't there for us to pick. And I'm glad that they ignored Peyton
right,
Wilson because it's like
right.
we just can't afford it. We can't afford
And
to
he
have.
will be hurt over here. That's
Yep,
our luck. He getting hurt.
he
So I'm
getting
glad they
hurt.
didn't do it.
Yep, Jonathan Brooks, same thing. And it's like we don't know how he's going to run after that injury.
Right.
Like we just don't know. Like we don't know. So to
And we
pick him
don't
at the
have that luck.
we don't have that luck. We don't have the time. I'm like, nah, bro. We can't afford to bring
Nah,
no rookie in here that's not gonna be ready because he
right.
just got hurt in November. Like we just didn't. I
No.
couldn't do it. I was gonna
Uh-uh.
be mad as hell. I was like, if we picked Jonathan Brooks in the second, I was gonna be mad as hell because like that is just we can't do it. We're tired of the hurt guys. Like let the hurt
Right,
guys go, Jerry. Let them
right.
go. And it looked like he said in the presser, like he
Thank
said
you,
these
silly.
guys. He said these guys are available. He said, yeah,
Right,
they may not be all world right now, but they're available. And we're
right.
tired of going into the playoffs and we got to deal with all these vets getting hurt. Jonathan Hankins hurt 2 years in a row. Stephon Gilmore hurt. It's like we need young, fresh guys because
Yeah,
they may not know what they're doing, but they're young and they fresh.
and they can play. So we
And they
need
can
that.
play today. Exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk about Marshawn. Like I said, he was the surprise pick. Um, we had did a show actually, Star. We did the final word right before the draft, and we had Smitty from the Eagles on there, and he tried to pick Marshawn on his draft for the Eagles in the second round, and other Eagles fans were like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Bruh, y'all don't know nothing about him. Y'all don't know
I
nothing
remember
about
him
him."
saying that. I
You
remember
remember
him
that?
saying
You
that.
remember
Yeah.
he was like, "Y'all don't know nothing
Go
about
look
him."
at the tape. Go look
So
at the tape.
look. That's what he said. So Star, you know me, I'm being quiet as hell, Star. And I'm like, look, Star. I'm like, I'm gonna go check that tape out
Yeah,
because why he talking about him like that? Why he talking about
exactly.
him like that? I went and checked that tape. I said, I see why he talking about him like that
Okay.
because.
Yeah.
Man, first of all, you know, with Marshawn, they call him the DeMarcus Lawrence clone. I mean, you can really call it that for the simple fact he wasn't a high sack guy, but he's
Yep.
a high motor guy. But
High
the
motor.
athletic ability to go with it, because a lot of times you see high motor guys, they compensate because they don't have the athletic ability, they don't
Yep.
have the lateral ability, they don't have that defensive prowess, so they have to be the high motor guy to make up for that. But what I seen from him, he's not only a high motor, he can get after it all multiple ways. And what I really love about him, Star, is that he can put that hand in the dirt and he can stand up. And when he stands up, he's like Michael Parsons. Now, I'm not saying he has that ability as far as that getting off the ball, as far as getting in that, but he has that ability to be able to find his targets when he's standing and be
Right.
able to penetrate that line of scrimmage. And another thing I really like about him, Star, when I seen him like attack the quarterback and ball carriers, he can mirror. So you
Mhm.
seen like when you see quarterbacks and D-Law comes off that edge and you like D-Law about to get the sack. I don't be thinking
Mhm.
that. All I'm thinking is that quarterback's gonna slide in and D-Law
Slide
gonna
in.
swing right, have that arm miss and swing right across from him and miss him
Yep.
because it's like he can't start and stop because that momentum takes him.
That
Where
momentum takes them.
where I
Mhm.
see Marshawn, he knows how to gear it down to where he's coming hard. And then once the quarterback gets out of that pocket, he knows how to mirror him, slow his speed, gear his speed down where he can mirror so you can't fake him out and he can still make the tackle. I said, ooh,
Oh
that's
wow.
not something all kind of players have.
Have.
That's a special type of trait to me. So that is the main thing that really stood out to me because that's how you really get those sacks. Because
Yep.
that's what Michael Parsons is so good at. Once he gets out past that line of scrimmage, quarterbacks ain't getting away from him because he
Nope.
knows how to mirror you and track you down, and
Mhm.
you can't get away from him. And
Yep.
that's what I saw from Marshawn. Not the athletic ability like a Parsons, but that ability to walk you down, and that gets me excited. Tell me what you
Yep.
think.
Yeah, I think with Marshawn Kneeland, he was a guy because when we picked him initially, I'm like, who is that? You know what I'm saying? girl is like, what? I was like, damn it, why do we always miss in the second round? What's going on? But listening to the draft gurus and all that stuff, the Dame Brugers and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, this guy was very high on my list. And so then listening to just content creators' reaction, then eventually getting to see the film on this guy. I mean, this guy is first of all, I think he was like top 6 in the nation in college stopping a run. This guy is a run stopping demon. So it's like he's gonna come in right now and he's gonna help you stop the run. He's got the strength. He's even got some of the what you would call like a little bit of like pass rush moves, and he's got the ability to set that edge. So he's
Mm-hmm.
got the ability to do the basic stuff right now. He has the pass rush. Some people have compared him to Khalil Mack. So I
Mm.
think, just like you said, he's got pass rush ability, but I think that obviously he's going to have to develop his tool belt because the NFL is not like college. If you want to win consistently, you can't just run through a guy's chest. This is the NFL. That's not going to work, unless you're Micah, which is just insane speed to power
Right,
combo.
right, right,
But other
right.
than that, like you're going to have like a D-Law, you're going to have some moves. So imagine him adding the moves of D-Law with already just the physical tools and the IQ, because what's his name? Will McClay said he's a very, very smart player. And when I see you talking about how he knows, so he has the ability, but he also knows mentally, what do I gotta do? I'm not just gonna shoot up field and then I miss the tackle and then the quarterback
Mm-hmm.
evades me. So he's looking, he's knowing what to do in order to say how I'm gonna get to the ball carrier, how I'm gonna get to the quarterback. So I think when you add a guy like that with that type of mentality, you got somebody really, really pushing Sam Williams. And I think that's good for
Mm-hmm.
Sam Williams because
He needs this.
I'm the one who said I don't know if we can bet the house on Sam
You
Williams.
sure have. You sure
So
did.
I'm glad that they said we're not gonna bet the house on Sam Williams, because if you go into this season being a knucklehead and doing stuff, doing dumb penalties and all that type of stuff, we have somebody right behind you. Because you see, Sam Williams is the type, if no one's behind him, he's gonna be like, and who are you gonna bench me for who?
Right,
Junior Fihoko? Like, be for
right,
real. You know what I'm saying?
right,
He's not
right,
gonna
right,
listen to you. But now,
right.
since we got someone, we drafted him in the very same round as you. We think very highly of him. So you better perform, because if you don't perform, we've got somebody right here.
Somebody's gonna take your snaps. We
Somebody's
now
gonna
we
take
got
yours.
somebody's gonna take your snaps.
Exactly. And it's like when you have a guy like that, he's hungry. He draft Mike Zim is gonna have more favor toward him. I drafted
Mm-hmm.
him.
Mm-hmm.
So, you
He's
know,
gonna get every opportunity.
he's gonna get every opportunity because Mike Zim's gonna have him in the rotation. Period. He will
Mm-hmm.
be in the rotation. He will be playing. So it's like, Sam, if you don't make the opportunities, because you're gonna have more. You're gonna have opportunities too, because you were a second round pick as well. But you don't have the luxury to just come in here and f around like you probably would have if we only had Junior Fehoko and Chauncey Golston sitting behind you. We only had those
Right.
guys. You're not gonna act right and do right. So I think that was a very good pick. I didn't watch his film before, but just based on the intel that I've gathered after the draft, I think it was a good pick. And I think if anything, it gives you Sam Williams insurance. It also gives you your D-Law replacement or D-Law insurance, because D-Law is gonna be 33 this year. So
And
he's
he has had
aging.
injuries.
And he's had a lot of injuries. We were lucky, last year, I think
Mm-hmm.
the year before, he was able to stay on the field, but he's had injuries. He's nearing, this is probably his last year, because it's the last year in his contract. And you need to get somebody in here right now where they can learn as much as they can from D-Law, so he can kind of pass the torch on, and then he can go, if whether he retires or goes somewhere else, that's his business. But I think overall, I like what the Cowboys did, because they brought somebody that can help them today, but also that some a guy that will be, barring injury, will be their future.
Yeah, and the good thing about it as well is you talked about the pass rushing moves. What better person to learn for your first year and possibly could
And
be
D
the
Law.
last year than D Law, because we know that he's not a supreme athlete. So a lot of times, but his hand fighting, if I heard from Lane Johnson, when I hear Lane Johnson, he said, what are the toughest players to go against? D Law is one of the players that he always mentions. So
Yeah.
that's got to tell me, number one, full effort. D Law is strong as hell, and he does come with different combination moves to really
Move.
trick you up.
Yep.
And you really have to be on your game. So I definitely give those props. I never said D-Law was the pass rusher, the sack guy, but he's the
Mhm.
everything else guy.
Right.
And this is what Marshawn can be, and possibly
Mhm.
more. We'll see what happens. But like I said, for that first year, you get to learn from a really good player. And then if
Mhm.
that possibly happens where you're taking his spot next year, you already built up your two belt. You've been in the room, so you can definitely hit the ground running year two. So I
Yep.
love how they made that pick for future. You got futures. You
Yep.
started with trenches. You got an offensive lineman. You got a defensive lineman. So your
Mhm.
trenches, and then you came back on that third pick, which was the golden pick, the golden goose. I'm gonna call this the golden goose
The
pick
golden goose
because
pick.
this flipped you back to 73rd, top of the round. And this is the darling of the draft for the Dallas Cowboys to me.
Yep.
Is Mr. Cooper Beebe,
Cooper
6 foot
Beebe.
3, 322 pounds, damn near probably looked like he 330. Big boy, play guard, play tackle, but we know he could most likely play center because he has
Center.
played it before.
Mhm.
And I've told everybody this star. I looked at his background. I always look at players' backgrounds before I even look at their stats, their tape, or
Yeah.
anything. I look at backgrounds, look for flags or anything like that. Does he love the game? Well, his
Mhm.
pops played football. I think his pops played in the NFL, and both his brothers play college football. His younger brother, I believe, as well, is be a sophomore at Kansas State.
Mhm.
So it's in the blood.
It's
That's
in
what
the
they
blood.
do. It's
Yeah.
what they eat,
It's
sleep,
what
and
they
drink.
do.
You feel
Yep.
me? So that
Mhm.
tells me you already have the football intelligence. Okay. You have the
Yep.
football intelligence because you're doing it all the time. So
Mhm.
Dallas not only got a grunt, I call him a lumberjack because he looks like a big lumberjack, but you got a smart guy, a guy that, dare we say, could come in like a Travis Frederick did, who was undersized. They thought
Mhm.
was a reach pick, and we know ain't nobody moving BB because we
No.
saw Cooper BB putting people in the ground. That's what he
Ground.
do.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if you got him as the center, where we've been having problem with Beatis getting overpowered, we
Yep.
don't think this problem is happening with Cooper BB. But now I done talked enough. I'm gonna let you have the floor because this
Yeah.
was your darling pick right here. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
this is
Star.
my darling pick. I have been on Cooper BB since last off season. I remember calling in the Law. Shout out to Law Nation show, and I said, "Law, have you seen Cooper BB?" He's like, "Nah, I ain't never heard of no Cooper BB." And I was like, "Yeah, this kid, he's out of K State. This kid is switching positions. Uh, in game, he's going from left guard to right guard to left tackle to right." I'm like, "What the hell?" Like, I had never seen anything like that, and I had never seen a player with that type of versatility. Yeah, you have players that can play both sides, but not where you really see players in game switching sides.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because I had just saw I think his name is KT Leviston. He was Cooper BB's teammate, and he was just explaining. He said, "Yeah, that's how we train." And I said, "Oh, that makes sense." Because he was like, "Yeah, when we go to practice," because he was talking about Cooper BB being able to play center, and he was like, even though Cooper has never really live game rep center, we always practice. Did we practice like, hey, Cooper would say, "Hey, I'm gonna play center today in practice. You're gonna play left guard. You're gonna play right tackle." So it's like they would just that K State builds their linemen to be versatile. And so when you have a guy like that on top of his power, like this is a guy that was single-handedly handling Byron Murphy, what's the other big guy? Tavondre Sweat by
Mm-hmm.
himself. When your center can handle that type of power by himself, and he doesn't have to combo block so much and stuff like that, it's gonna open up. It's gonna be able to open up your offense in a different way, and you're really gonna be able to get downhill on guys. And that was one of the things, I said with Solari, we didn't have the guys to fit his scheme because
Mm-hmm.
in order to fit that power run type of scheme, you got to have power players. You got to have big guys, and we didn't have that in Tyler Biotis. Tyler Biotis just more so fits a finesse type of scheme because he's not the most powerful guy, but he can be decent in pass blocking, but as far as run blocking, that's not his strong suit. And so we really needed to get stronger in the interior. And now you have Tyler Smith in the interior, who's clearly all pro. So that means this guy's top guard in the league. You pair that with BB, you pair that with, Zach Martin, and eventually it'll either be Nathan Thomas, because they said they're going to move him in, or TJ Bass. You're talking about, you just completely rebuilt your interior to young young maulers. You know what I'm saying? Like young maulers where you're really going to be able to have that identity of we can push guys off the ball. We no longer going to be pushed off the ball, letting linebackers fly to the back of the field, get hit the running back in the back of before he even gets past the line of scrimmage. And another thing about Cooper Beebe is not only his versatility and his strength, but also his IQ. Like this is a guy that he's what you call a teach tape guy. This is a guy that does y'all. You know how y'all love Duke Manyweather. He teaches seminars and stuff for Duke Manyweather. Like Cooper Beebe is he's probably the most pro ready, one of the pro ready players in the draft. Period. So now I will say from his 2022 to 2023 tape. 2022 tape is better, and I just think that Cooper gained a little bit of weight going into 2023, so he just wasn't able to move as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Will McClay said as well that K-State makes them like wear some type of leg braces or ankle braces or something like that kind of affects their movement that he won't be wearing here. But I think ultimately that is a steal because he was a what I call end of the first round, second round grade, and for us to get him at the top of the third, that was probably the steal of the draft. People won't look at it right like that right now, but I think once we get to the end of the season, people will see the type of guy that we got out of Cooper Beebe.
I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you on that one. I'm gonna say that was the best pick of the draft because like you said, he's the most pro ready. He's probably going to be the one that's going to given the most opportunity to start at that center position. It's almost like they're doing it like Travis Frederick. Like we're kind of giving you the job, but we want to see if you can do it. But all the keys is right there. You just got to handle your business, and if you handle your business just a little bit, you're gonna be that guy. That's just what I feel like. They already penciled that in. And like you
Yeah.
said, I'm sorry. I don't care what Brock Hoffman does. I just don't see you beating out of
It's
Cooper
just
Beebe.
not happening.
I'm sorry.
I don't
That's
see
why
that
they
happening.
upgraded it because they were smart.
They were smart.
Everybody was. I get it. And no, if no hate on Brock Hoffman, please understand it. But when we were seeing the Brock Hoffman workout videos and all that, I'm like, hell no, dog, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no,
He
star.
was not for that. He was
No, I
not for the
wasn't. I was
undrafted
not.
free
I
agent. He said,
wasn't.
no,
No, no,
no,
do
no.
not want no undrafted free agent starting center. I don't care what he did in them couple games. Them was two. One was against backups. No, not believing it. You're not gonna fool me. You play 17 games. We're gonna be crying the blues by week 5. Damn, what the hell about this Hoffman? Man, I don't know what the
Because
hell
he's
we was thinking.
probably just another Tyler Biotis. It's like
He's a backup.
you don't even have the body
He's a
realistically.
backup.
Yeah, you don't have it. Unfortunately. I think he's got the mental fortitude and all that stuff.
Mental,
I'm like,
mental is great,
but
but mental and body,
you
they
don't
ain't
have
there.
the body. Yeah. You don't
You
have the
gonna get
body to
pushed
do it.
around, dog. He
Yeah.
not big enough. You
Yeah.
feel me?
Yeah.
We
We
need
saw
that
what he looked
horse.
like compared to Tyler Guyton. I mean, he looked
Little.
very little. And he's been working his butt off
He
all
looked like
season. And
he
I'm
looked
like,
like
you
Mark
still look little.
Stepnowski. He like Mark Stepnowski. Yeah, I don't know if you ever remember him or seen him. He was our center back in the day in the 90s. That man was like he was nasty now, but he was all a 290.
Yeah.
295 at the on a good damn day.
On a
And you can
good
see
day.
when the line came up, you're like, damn, how is he playing center? He all little like that. That's what Brock Hoffman looked to me. I'm sorry, not
He's
hating
a
on you,
little
bro.
guy.
But
He's a little
when
guy.
that's Cooper Beebe's job, and you great be
Yeah.
the great backup. That's Cooper
Yeah.
Beebe's job. So
Yeah.
that's where we at right there. So now back to back star came with the back to back. She
Yeah.
came with the Cooper Beebe. This she came with Maris.
Cooper
So
Beebe marries Leah found.
talk to me about Leufou because you like I said, you brought him up to me. I had heard about him. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't intel him deeply. I didn't look at him like that. What was the thing that made you really say, hey, this is the guy we need a linebacker, big?
Well, because I wanted us to get specifically a middle linebacker in the draft. I said,
Mm-hmm.
listen, we've got Will linebackers, we've got Sam linebackers, we have Eric Kendricks on a rental,
Mm-hmm.
but we have not had a true middle linebacker since Sean Lee.
Mm.
LVE was not no middle linebacker. We
Right.
put him in that position. Jalen Smith
Right.
was not no real middle linebacker. We put him in that position. And so I'm like, we need to obviously you have Eric Kendricks here as a rental, but we need to go ahead and get a mic so that when Eric Kendricks is gone, we've got our next guy ready to step in. And that's what Maris Leofau is. This is a kid where he was the mic of the defense for Notre Dame. He plays with this. First of all, he's a huge specimen. Like you cannot miss him on the field. Like he's just a guy that looks like you was meant to control the middle of the field. He moves that way. He plays hook to flat. Had one of the best coverage grades in the draft as for a linebacker. This is a guy who every hit he literally said, "I play because I want you to know. I want you to know that I'm on the field. So anytime I get to hit you and let you know, hey, just to let you know I'm here, that's how I play." And you can see it on the film. Another thing that stood out to me with Maris, and some people said he had bad eyes. I didn't see bad eyes from him, but I obviously probably watched different games. But with Maris, I said one thing I was looking for in all the linebackers is, do you get confused and fooled by motion? Because that is something that has killed us for I don't know how long, where our linebackers' eyes are terrible. And the people like Sean McVay's and Shanahan, they could just play the motion game on us all freaking game, and we just keep getting full. And when I saw Maris, he didn't get confused by motion. He was very patient, very disciplined, very assignment sound, and can contain the if he needs to go and scrape and get to the edge, he can do that. So I was like, he's got all the tools that you need, and he can take on blocks, he can stack, he can shed blocks. I was like, when you that's what we need. And on top of that, you have the mind of a Mike. That's why Mike Zimmer said, I knew I was gonna pick you. When you told me what everybody was doing on the defense at the 30 visit, I knew you were gonna be a high priority for us. So that's why I was high on Maris, because I was like, yeah, you got your Edgerrin Cooper's great player, but that's not a middle linebacker. Nor does he want to play middle linebacker. Cedric Gray is not a middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Peyton Wilson was, but it's like
He light
with his injury history, you want him taking on all them blocks and stuff
and he
in the
light.
NFL, and he's light. Like that's not gonna
I
work.
stood
So
next to him, Star. I ain't even trying to cut y'all. I stood next to
you
him,
did
and
say,
I'm a little nooker. I'm a little nooker, and I stood next to him like, you ain't that. You don't look that big to me, dog. And I'm little,
yeah.
bruh. You need to eat.
Exactly. Like he's a light guy, and it's like you want him constantly taking blocks and shedding blocks in the NFL with his injury history. I don't think so. So it's like after him, there was only two true Mike linebackers in this draft that I feel highly about. It was Junior Colson and it was Maris Leofau. So I was like, we need to get one of those guys, because these guys are true mics and they're going to be able to be our future. So, and learn, be able to be mentored by Eric Kendricks. So that's why I was super high on Maris. And I said, yeah, technically, according to the draft boards or whatever, did we reach for him a little bit? Yeah, we did. But, we had to face the issue because we didn't have a 4th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
If so, we had to pick him there because he wasn't going to be there. We didn't have nothing but a compensatory pick in the 5th. He was not going to be there at the bottom of the 5th. He just was not. He was not. And so you had to say, what's important now? I need this attitude in the linebacker room. You had to go and get your guy, because if you didn't, who you going to force into Mike next year? You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to think about that. And Choctaw, I liked some film from Eichenberg. I think Maris is better than him by a mile, but I did like Eichenberg. I don't think Eichenberg was a bum. I think he would be able to help a team. He
I
just
like
doesn't.
Eichenberg, but I don't think he fitting with us.
Yeah, he's not fitting with us, but I think that he was good. But I think Maris is really that guy where this guy has the potential and the ceiling to be our true Mike linebacker that's going to be terrorizing quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to be terrorizing you because I can control this middle of the field. I know this defense forward and back. I know how to get my guys lined up. I know what we need to do. I'm not a Mitch, so I'm not about to sit here and be pushed out of the way on the ground like Deone Clark. No shade to Deone, but I'm not going to be there. I know how to shed blocks. Like, I know how to stop the run, how to hit the hole and not be what I call hesitant Harrys, where they're just waiting on the freaking lineman to come to them instead of shooting the gap and getting to the backfield. So
That's
yeah,
not Maris.
yeah, that's not Maris. You
Yeah.
won't see him looking like a LVE and Deone Clark,
And
and
waiting. Nah, he
you
ain't. He
won't
ain't.
see
One
that from
thing. Yeah, and I think that's what I liked about him. Just how you mentioned about LVE, and we understand. I'm gonna just say right now, I understand LVE why you probably were hesitant. You had a damn neck injury. You're playing Mike linebacker where you were getting all the contact. We don't know nothing about that, so I'm not gonna hate him on that aspect because we know every hit it could have been his and
could
he's
have been his
already been
last.
hurt. Could have been his last. He could have been paralyzed. Like so that we for us to act like that don't play in a player's mind when a
Hmm.
running back, a big boy, or a big lineman's coming after you, you saw it was just one play. He got hit,
Yep.
he hit the neck right, and bam, he's out. You get what I'm saying? So I can understand why he was probably hesitant. Deone Clark, and this ain't no hate on you, Deone Clark, but you ain't have no excuse. LVE had excuse. Damone, you ain't had no excuse because I seen you hesitating and waiting. I don't think it was the physical part of it. I just feel like your awareness is just not there. The instincts, the
It's the
awareness, the
instinct, big,
eyes.
because
er-
he never got better, big, and that's what was scary with Damone all season. Like, I expect you to take your lumps, but his eyes never got better.
Yeah.
From the first game to the last game, it never got better, and that just shows me like you don't your mental is not there. Because at least with
Hmm.
LVE, he knew the plays, he saw it.
Hmm.
He would hesitate because of his body, but Damone, he just didn't know.
Yeah.
He never could figure it out. And
Hmm.
that was bad. And he kept putting that on tape, and teams knew how to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, and I think that's why you saw the Kendricks because you needed a solid mic. You
You
needed
needed
somebody who
it.
could really command the offense. And Kendrick said that, and I said that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, that he switched from San Francisco over to Dallas
Yep.
because he was going to play the mic, he was going to be the man, and he said he wanted to bet on himself for a future contract. What better way to come to the Cowboys, play on a year deal, turn up? That's going to get your deal somewhere else. It just will. And just you have the familiarity with Mike Zimmer, and I just feel like that's a great teacher for Maris because the thing I love about Maris, just like we talked about with Damone, he don't hesitate.
Yep.
His problem sometimes is he overruns the play. He's over aggressive. That's
Yeah.
his problem.
That could happen to him.
I
He
don't.
could be
I'm
overly
cool with
aggressive.
that.
I'm
I'm
cool with
cool with
that.
over aggressive because you can
Yeah.
teach. You can
If
teach
you
somebody to
miss,
gear
if
down.
you miss, mix big. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Yes.
want you hesitating. If
Yeah.
you miss, okay, you missed. But at least I saw you coming forward and trying to fill the gaps. And we have not had a linebacker shoot the gaps.
Yeah.
It's
And
John
this.
Lee. We
Yeah.
just haven't had it. We haven't had it.
Factual,
Yep.
and that's what this young man does, and he plays what they say with his hair on fire. He got the hair, and he plays with the hair on fire. And then
Yep.
him and Kendricks, I just think is going to be a really good mix because
It's gonna be a good mix. So
he's
I feel
really
like
going to learn.
guys,
Hmm.
this is pushing. I love this competition because I'm like, I don't want Deone Clark. I don't care you switch your number back to 18. I don't want you thinking that you're about to just walk in here. I'm the starter. No, you're
Hmm.
not. No, you're not.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have
Hmm.
competition because you were a big issue for us last year. And it was
Hmm.
clear on film and you never got better. And that's just not good. And I understand that Scott McCurley is not the best coach. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, he Scott McCurley did him any favors. Obviously he didn't. But at the same time, if you're watching film yourself, you should get a little we should have saw some improvements.
Hmm.
Maybe not great, but we should have saw some improvements and we just didn't see that from him. We
We
didn't see
shouldn't have
the
saw the
improvement.
regression because we were feeling good about the half a year that you played your rookie year. So
Yeah.
we thinking that you're going to stack on what
I was
you
so high
ended.
on Damone this
Right.
year
We
and
were
he
we were we were
bad.
excited, but I think I'm gonna give him not his excuse, but to his we said you're not a Mike, and he was been playing out of position. You're not a
Yeah.
Mike. You're more of a Will. You're more of a guy that can trail. You're not a guy that's the guy that's really being the strong side. You're not the guy
Right.
that's stopping the run. You're the guy that's chasing
Right.
people down with your speed and
Mhm.
using your athletic ability. That's
Yeah.
where you need to be
That's
more
where he
at.
dropped. Yeah.
So hopefully, like I said, the linebacker room has gotten better. It's got
Mhm.
stronger. We finally have a guy who is the guy, and we
Yeah.
know he's the guy, and we know he likes playing that position. And like you said, that's the Sean Lee esque We have somebody who can command the defense, we ain't got to worry about the dot. This is the guy. We know he's running it. He's gonna be calling it. So I feel better. So
Yeah.
as we kind of get ready to end this, so I'm just gonna get your opinion on the last few picks. And
Yeah.
the opinion I'm gonna just kind of tell me. Shout out for the holla. I am Gambit. Shout out for the 499 holla, and shout out for all the donations everybody's been giving us. Really appreciate y'all. Been
Yep.
getting a
Shout
lot of great compliments about the show. Hey, I tell everybody, I'm just Big Game James.
out.
Why you think her name is Star, man? Chill out, y'all. Why you think her name is Star? I said she the next up, and I said she the next great in these streets. Y'all better pay attention to her out in these streets. So I'm not going to ask you to give me like deep breakdowns because obviously it's after the fifth round. We kind of understand, but out of those players that were drafted was offensive lineman.
hmm
What's his last name?
Thomas. I think Nathan
Nathan
Thomas.
Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Rogers kid. We had the Ryan Flournoy,
I think it's Flournoy. It's either
Flournoy,
Flournoy. I think Flournoy.
Flournoy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Carson. What's the first name?
Kalen
Tavion?
Carson. Kalen
Kalen
Carson.
Carson. Out of those picks,
Mm-hmm.
who excited you the most?
I would probably say Kalen Carson because I also said going into the when we were before the draft that corner was also a need.
Hmm.
Because
I
I was
remember you
like,
telling me that.
yeah, because I was like, corner is a need that not many people are talking about
Hmm.
because I was like, of course, you got Diggs coming back from injury, which I do think Diggs will be ready because, or even if he's not ready, he's gonna be removed from. He's gonna be almost
Because
a
it was
year.
so early.
Yeah, he's gonna be. So they're gonna put him back on the field. We saw how early they put Terrence Steele and Michael Gallup. So I'm like, he's gonna be playing, week one most likely. But I was like, after him and after Bland, you got Jay Lou, but Jay Lou is here. He's a 1 year rental. So I kind of feel like Jay Lou, you should kind of be like a depth piece at this point. We signed you back for a couple million. I feel like with these young guys, like I said, with Kalen Carson, I think Kalen Carson, if they move Izzy back to corner, and then you have the Scott kid, with those three, I feel like that's a formidable competition for that cornerback three. And I think that that's needed because I just think that these spots need to be filled with people who really love football. You know what I'm saying? Like people who really love football. And one thing I said, it's kind of crazy because it's like we are bidding the house on the red shirts. But I said the one good thing about the red shirts is they're trying to prove something. They're trying to win. They're trying to feed their families. They're trying to get these contracts. So they're going to play hard. They're going to play harder than any vet. I was like, with somebody like Gilly, good player. He's not he's a good player and he helped us. But I was like, he's already solidified himself pretty much as a Hall of Famer. He has a Hall of Fame career right now. So he doesn't have the same hunger. He's won the Super Bowls. He's like, sure, I'll help you win, but I'm not in the position where I'm a young kid. I'm out here trying to get my Pro Bowls and all pros. I'm like, now that we have these kids with this talent, and then you have a coach that you hope can bring it out of them, I was like, you need to have the competition because that's how you get the best guys on the field, the guys who really want to win. Because I feel like, we had so many vets where it's like they was good, but they just wasn't great. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're good,
Hmm.
you're decent, you're helping us, like Tyler Biadasz and Dorrance Armstrong, you're pretty good, but
Hmm.
we need more. We need more to win. And I think, when you look at these young guys, they just have a different passion. They have a different hunger than the older guys. They just do because they haven't had. They're trying to establish themselves. And the older guys, they've been here for so long. Like people say, they're gonna buy into Mike Zim's defense. I say, yeah, because they're young. But if we had the wall that we had in those free agents, I don't think so. I don't see them really listening to him like that because they're like, listen, I'm a vet. I'm gonna be here. I was here before you. I'm gonna be here after you. You know what I'm saying? I've got my accomplishments. But these guys, like especially Kalen Carson, why I'm excited for him is because this is Zim's specialty. That's who he coaches. He coaches the defensive backs. And we know the type of defensive backs that he produces. And then when you look at the traits of Kalen Carson, this guy is a tackling machine as a corner. So that tells you what I have that type of dog mentality to come up and hit. But not only that, I also have the ability to cover. I have the cover ability to play inside and outside. And what's crazy is Will McClay said he's still raw, which means he said there was so much in the pre-draft process like he don't even know. So what you see your film, a lot of that he's just playing off of instincts. He doesn't know the in and outs of the game. So I think that it's just in I think that was a good pick because I think that makes it for a competitive room, and I think that he can actually come in here and push these guys for them to not feel like, oh yeah, I got it locked up. Because honestly, it's like, are you sold on Eric Scott? No. Easy McQuamu, I'm high on him, but it's like we haven't seen you because you pretty much been riding the bench since 2022 after the playoff game. You've been riding the bench, so it's like you need somebody else in there that can come in and that can fill that roster spot other than Jay Lou. Because Jay Lou did have that Liz Frank injury, and yeah, he recovered, but he is older too. And I think Kalen Carson's like fat. He's just younger. So it's like if you have a vet and a young guy that's pretty much equal, you take the young guy. That's what I feel. So
Yeah, we gonna see. I was like, you know what? Star came with one guy. I'm gonna go with somebody different. I'm a defensive guy, so I feel everything you say about Carson, especially with the way the cornerback room is.
mhm.
Nation Wright. Let's move on, please. That's a
We got to
Phillips,
get
man.
rid of him 100%.
Let's go ahead and move on. So I'm thinking this he immediately will take his spot and slide in there, and then like I said, we'll see. We'll have Scott from back from last year. I feel good about Diggs as well because it was so early. Obviously,
Mm.
we saw a blend. We think he's going to continue to get better. So I feel like it just adds the room. I would love to see Mukama come back in at corner. I think he
I
did
would
really good
too
when he was
because
playing slot.
he's a corner. He's a
Right.
corner. Like I don't know why Dan Quinn moved him to safety. That's just not his
And
position.
Marquise Bell's going back to safety, so
But the
maybe
safety, yeah,
because maybe that if Marquise Bell goes back to safety, he can go back to corner. Hopefully that
right.
happens, and then we
Hopefully
can get the
we can
legitimacy
see
from it.
what he has. Yeah.
Exactly. So what I'm going to say is, Hector says, "What up, Big James? Do you think three wide receivers on the team right now, or do you think they have to go out and get one?" This is what I was going to just talk about. Who's going to be my maybe surprise player from Southeast Missouri
Missouri,
State.
Semo,
Uh,
Semo they call it.
Ryan Flunery. Flunery? I'm gonna say
Flournoy, Flournoy,
Flower Flournoy. That's
Flournoy.
what,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's it looks just like it. Flour noise.
Yeah,
So I don't know why I
Flournoy.
keep on trying to say it a different way. Flour noise.
Stephen Jones said Flarney. Like, I'm like that. I don't think that's right.
So
I'm
I
like,
don't
I
feel
don't
I
think that's
so
right.
look, your own damn owner saying something your name wrong, so I don't feel so bad now. So Ryan Flournoy.
Noy.
Um they said he's got a chance. A lot of people are already talking about him. I mean, I looked at a lot of publications, Star,
I
on
think
their
so
grades of
too.
him, and they were giving him like B plus A. They were giving him great grades in that
Yeah,
round, like
yeah,
across the board. Then I went and looked at them numbers: 6'1", 205, ran that 4.4, damn near 40-inch vertical, uh, 11, 11 on the broad jump,
yeah.
19 reps on the bench ain't bad for a receiver. You got some good strength right there. 19 benches ain't on
He's pretty
225 ain't bad
strong.
for a receiver.
That's true.
So
He did do well at the Senior Bowl too. That's why they were very high on him because he
and
proved
I'm
that
gonna
he was
go back
bold.
to the Senior Bowl because I was like not paying attention. So I'm
Paying
going back to the
attention to
Senior
him.
Bowl and
Yeah.
go back and watch them. You feel me?
Yep.
But when we look at our receiver room, just like you
Hmm.
said, Star, it is still slim because the Lord knows if CD goes down, you're in trouble. If CD Lamb is any kind of hurt guy at any point in time, you're in trouble. I like
Hmm.
Brandon Cooks, but we saw what he was last year, and I think that's
Hmm.
just what he is now. You feel me?
Hmm.
He's not scaring people, but he still will get you production. You understand what I'm
Production.
saying?
Right.
He's
Yeah.
gonna get you production, but I don't think he's scaring people like that no more, like he was early in his career. We saw Jalen Tolbert. A lot of people are hoping for a year 3 jump. I'm not gonna say he's not gonna have a jump. I think he has more production, but I think we saw what he is now. I just for me, I feel like we saw what Jalen Tolbert is.
I
I
was
think
thinking
he
that too big, but then I thought, sorry, I mean cut
okay.
you off, but
No, go ahead.
I was
Talk
thinking
to
that
me.
too because I was like, I think Jalen Tolbert like is what he is, but then I said, well, last year technically was his first year because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was redshirted.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's his first year, his first opportunity. So that's pretty much like that was his rookie year. So this year, even though it's technically his third year, it'll really be his second year. So I do think that he may have something more to offer. We're gonna see,
Hmm. Hmm.
because I'm hoping that with another year under Mike McCarthy's offense, he'll feel more comfortable, more
He
confident.
continues to play faster.
And he looks like he's gotten bigger too. Like he's
Hmm.
gotten bigger every
Yeah, he is
offseason.
bigger.
He looked like he got bigger again. So I do think that maybe he's got something more. But we'll see this year. But I do think ultimately, and Big, I do gotta jump off of here. But I will
Okay.
say that for the wide receiver room, I think we got formidable competition there, because you're saying who's going to be our wide receiver 3-4. So you got the two Jalen's, you still got Turpin, then you
Hmm.
added this Flournoy, and
Martavius Bryant.
then you got Martavis Bryant.
He's a wild
Now
card.
how he's a wild card, because I'm like, if Martavis Bryant really haven't like lost a step like that, and he really ready to
Bruh,
go,
he was nasty.
he could be he could be the guy that no one's talking about, because
He was
but I'm like,
nasty.
if they're really high on Martavis, that could be our guy, because I'm like, ultimately you are looking for another, and that's what you would call that feels that Michael Gallup role, the true X speed, you know what I'm saying? So
Big.
it's gonna be big. It's gonna be interesting to see how high are they on him, because they did intentionally keep him. So I do think that they do want to see, how his training camp is gonna go.
Yeah.
So hopefully, he does good, but I do gotta hop off. But
Let's
I would
plug
say
your
to
stuff.
everybody, um, shout out to everybody in the chat. Y'all can follow me on Twitter or X at the Stargazer. But instead of a E in the name, it's a 3 and 2 R's at the end. Find me on YouTube, Stargazer Sports. Find me on Facebook at Stargazer Sports Media. And you can find me on Instagram at Stargazer underscore sports. And then y'all see my Cash App there on the screen, $ Stargazer Sports. So I
There it
appreciate
is.
you guys. Glad to be back on the Big Star Show. Hopefully we come back next week, and I'll see you guys next week.
Appreciate you, Star. We'll be talking
Thank
to
you,
you.
Big. Okay,
Another
see
great
ya.
show. Another great show in the building. Miss Stargazer, like I said, that's the next up and comer in these streets. Let me turn it to the side. Let me see. Turn to the side. Huh? Huh? Okay. Let's go back over here. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, anyway, great show. Fire show. Appreciate everybody that showed up in the building. Told everybody, hey, man, make sure y'all are deep, deep narcotics. Come on, man. Um, But I'm glad everybody was in the building. Shout out to everybody in was a building. We had a great crowd. I'm glad y'all showed up and showed out today. Star really brought it. Star really brought it. It was a great show today. And once again, shout out to my dog Julius Wood getting picked up by the Cowboys as an undrafted rookie free agent safety. Please go check him out. Julius Wood from East Carolina safety. Go check out his tape. DMV did a video on him. Go check out that video. It was a great video, but you can also go check out on East Carolina website and go check him out. We're really praying that he can really make this squad. It's going to be a battle, but one thing I know about Julius Juju is that he don't play around. He plays every rep like it's his last rep. He's all about business. He's all about serious. He's not about the glitz and the glamour. He's not about the fame and the glory. He's a grinder. That's what he's about. He ain't about the interviews. He ain't about none of that stuff. He's about putting his head down, putting that helmet on, and getting to work and making it happen. So I'm just excited to see Julius Wood, 808. Julius Wood, Columbus, Ohio's finest, baby. Play with me with the Columbus Rams. My dog, that's my dog's son. He runs the Columbus Rams organization, Little League youth football out here in Columbus, and we got some dogs. We done put a lot of players in college. Division 1, Division 2, NIA, NAIA. We got some guys, Western Michigan right now. No, I think somebody's at Notre Dame. I'll get those names for you. But we got a nice little list of players that we really grow up out there and uh, from the Columbus Rams and go on and have really good athletic careers outside of that. But I think Julius is going to be one of the first ones that's in this NFL doing his damn thing. So we just wishing that he gets on that team, makes the team, and turns up and shows out. So we'll see. We'll see. Cut it out. Hey, I ain't coaching there no more. Maybe that's why. But I coach the big boys. We got dubs, so I don't know what else to say about nobody else. But we had Julius too, and my son, dogs. But appreciate everybody in the building. Like I said, man, great show. Another great show on the books. Check out Stars. She gave her all the information. You see my cash app right there if you'd like to donate. BGJ, the dollar sign, all that good stuff. If you'd like to donate, keep donating for the cause. Best of Enemies, I believe that's going down this Sunday. I believe we're gonna have George Carmi from the Washington Commanders. I definitely like having him on because of his knowledge and because they got Dan Quinn over there. They just had their draft. Definitely interested to get and pick his brain about the Jaden Daniels selection as the quarterback over the Commanders, and of course with Joe with their draft that they had with the Eagles. They went kind of hard at that cornerback position. So I think it'll be a fire show coming up this Sunday. Make sure all our Cowboys people are in to the at the building, and let's get it. But for myself, Big Game James, Miss Star Gazer, the Big Star Show, back in business. I'll talk to you. We out.